Hi everyone, I'm here with just a quick little video. I'm doing this with Hangout just for simplicity's sake. Um, in response to Vince Venturella's topic of the week for this week, I haven't really participated in the others so far because various reasons, but ultimately I didn't feel like I had much to contribute. But this week's topic is how I got into Warhammer. And frankly, everybody's got a how they got into Warhammer story, so I figure it's good enough to chat on. Um, First things first, I originally started back in high school in the heyday of 5th edition. In fact, one of the first products that I bought for Warhammer was that edition starter set, which has the lizard men, or had the lizard men and the Bretonnians in it. And looking back on it now, I find it kind of interesting that I am playing lizard men myself, and one of my primary opponents is Bretonnia. Which is funny because I did not ultimately end up playing either of those two races back when I played back in the day. I'm also, while I'm doing this, trying desperately to put together a Stegodon, and I'm realizing that they don't, like, the instructions don't number anything, so it's very, very difficult to figure out what the freak I'm doing. But to get more to the topic, I played originally my first army that I actually collected once I traded away the lizard men and the Bretonnians that I got from that box was dwarves. And again, amusingly enough, I played them for a while, but I had the same problem then that I had with the dwarves recently, which made me get rid of them, and that was I have this weird desire to participate in the movement phase and Magic. And Magic isn't even really the biggest thing. It was the movement that killed my interest for the dwarves. So I traded what dwarves I had for Empire. And much of the Empire that I used then, I used Empire and Regiments of Renown, Dogs of War, because that book was coming out at about that time. So between those two, that was kind of my first experience with things. And I think I cut out the wrong pieces. I should probably talk and then finish this video and then do this because I'm getting very lost. But at the time, most of my opponents, I had 3 typical opponents, Orcs and Goblins player, a Dark Elves player, and an Undead player. So, and then my younger brother got into it for a very brief period with Chaos Dwarves back when they were a legitimate, or at least more legitimate army. I guess we'll go with that. But we played for a few years. By about senior year, so we must have been playing about three years. Senior year, we kind of all gave it up because other things were going on. And I stuffed my Empire stuff in a tackle box and used it occasionally for D&D. Many years pass, and I was in a position where I was looking for work. And I brought my resume to the attention of Games Workshop and was going to do an interview with them. And I figured, you know what? If I'm going to be working for this company, I should probably at least be vaguely familiar with how at least one of their games is played. And so, as I had been drawn to it before, I chose again to take a look at Warhammer. As opposed to 40K. But so I originally picked up Bretonnia and kind of strong-armed everybody in our gaming group, our D&D gaming group, to give it a try with me. So I started with Bretonnia and was getting them painted up, and But my real first love and first want to get back was with the ogres. And I didn't go with them first because I thought that it would be cheaper to get Bretonnia. I'm not entirely sure why I went with that line of logic, but whatever. I think because I was finding more stuff on eBay cheaper with the Bretonians, but needless to say. So after Skip, my buddy decided he didn't want to play his Vamp counts anymore, and I traded him my Bretonians for them and realized that I didn't really like them. I decided to bite the bullet and get ogres. And so we got into that first campaign, which was Blood in the Badlands, and we played that, and it eventually evolved into our current narrative campaign setup, which frankly I like better anyway. But that's pretty much it. Since that time, I've still played the ogres. I have my empire that I've kind of brought back up to a competitive level in the current meta, or I guess competitive level might not necessarily be the right word, but I have brought it back to a level in which I am comfortable with it playing at the table. I picked up dwarves for a while, phased them out. I have warriors of chaos now, vampire counts, demons, and as you can see, I'm building lizard men. Although I hold that up, there's no way you can tell what the hell piece that's from. But that's where we basically find ourselves. Other interesting fact, I'm sure I've said this at some point. Oh, I found out how that works together. I've said this at some point, but I don't know if anybody has picked up on it. Kind of a first for me is that the first date that I ever had with my wife was actually painting Warhammer models. I was using them for D&D at the time, but it was still, I told her that I paint models, and she was interested because she is an artist, and so I was like, well, let's get you in, and we picked up a box of zombies and a box of goblins. And I showed her basically how I do it, and I mean, we were both painting atrociously at the time, but she got into it and she really liked it, and then she proceeded to get much, much, much better than I am. Not that that took all that long for her to accomplish. She just has a heck of a lot more raw talent than I ever will. But I always think it's very interesting that our first date together was over painting Warhammer models, so that's kind of a unique first in terms of the hobby for me. So that's pretty much all I got to say. I just wanted to go ahead and do this up real quick because I was feeling bad for not participating in this whole weekly thing. So as always, if you got comments or questions, leave them below. Otherwise, I will catch you guys on the next video.